Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. What's going on, everybody? Oh, good Lord. Tonight, we're talking about weeb stuff. I wasn't a weeb until my daughter started getting into anime, and then I was like, oh, crap. Well, as a good father, I've got to watch anime. I mean, there was some I liked when I was a kid, but I was like, I got to watch the anime. I got to make sure that I can direct the children to stuff that I approve of as a parent. And by doing that, I might have become a weeb. And by doing this, I'm like, oh, well, hey, there's some shows that I enjoy. I really do, and I want to see more shows. And so I keep continuing down this road of trying to watch anime. And I do. I do a lot of paperwork, and honestly, I've gotten to a point where I can just put headphones in and just listen to shows. That's just how I am. And so what's so crazy to me is that Isekai anime irritates me. And we're going to get into it. But before we do, as I said a few weeks back, I want to start every show off with a prayer for everybody out there because I know times are tough for everybody. So if you guys in the chat would join me in a prayer for everybody out there that all of us make it through the trying times that we're going through, because I think it's very important to do that. Let's get started. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. All right. And hopefully tonight we can kind of dial into this. I was talking about this in the Discord. And I had told some people, I was like, well, I'm kind of bored. I really want something to watch, something to kind of binge. And I ended up watching That Time I Got Reincarnated into a Slime. Oh, hey, hold on 1 second. I don't have a beer. And this is A Drink with Crazy. We need to have a beer on A Drink with Crazy. That's the whole point of the show. We drink while talking about crazy stuff. So anyway, so I watched That Time I Got Reincarnated into a Slime. And I'm like, what is this thing where certain isekai anime are like, oh, we're going to isekai a guy, and then he's just going to be a nation builder. They should, like, this is like a subgenre of the isekai anime. Now, that being said, The Time I Got Reincarnated into a Slime does not irritate me as much as Rising of the Shield Hero. I hate Rising of the Shield Hero. I cannot tell you how much I hate that anime. It is some of the worst writing that I have seen in a show in a very long time. And here's the problem. What's that, like, law of diminishing returns? It's like, oh, if I just keep going, it'll just get better. I feel like I'm there because I've watched so much of Rising of the Shield Hero that I'm just like, no, I just have to keep watching. Because at this point, I'm like, well, I've got to know where it's going to go, right? Which is hilarious because I could probably just go online, I'll go to YouTube and watch the full story of Rising of the Shield Hero and see it. But I don't want to do that. And like shows that I really love, and I'm like, I want to know where this is going to go, and I don't want to wait for the anime. I go and I see and I listen to videos that break down the mangas, and I watch, and oh my gosh, I hate it. So anyway, and so much of the isekai manga. So what I do is it's like, okay, scrolling through Crunchyroll. Guys, tell me if you do this. And you tell me if you do this, okay? Weebs, I need you here, okay? I need you here. I'm not an elder weeb, because I've only become a weeb like a year or two ago. I could have become a weeb when I was younger, but my friends were into some weird anime when I was a kid. A lot of, what is it? Is it called ecchi? Ecchi? I don't know. The one that shows the big titty girls and like nudity and stuff like that, but it's not like hentai, right? That one. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Anyway, my friends in high school were weird. They wanted to watch some weird stuff. Got me out of it. My favorite, two favorite animes of all time, Princess Mononoke, Get Backers. Princess Mononoke, Get Backers, those are probably my two favorite of all time. It doesn't take much for anime to get weird. Which is so strange. Because I've just decided after I got done with the slime anime, literally listening to, because again I don't have to watch it, I listened to Solo Leveling seasons 1 and 2 today. I radically prefer Solo Leveling with its simple story, and I kind of know where it goes anyway. How like the main character, yes, it's a power fantasy anime, but I really like the Western fantasy style anime. I think Goblin Slayer is decent. I like Goblin Slayer. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of campy. Obviously, the character is a little over the top at times, but I like that show. It's just a kind of a simple premise. Dude fights goblins. Dude wants to fight goblins. That's it. What's the rest of the story? Don't care. Dude wants to fight goblins. I like simple story animes. What I have a problem with is a lot of these isekai hide themselves behind two things, right? They hide themselves behind just a bunch of tropey crap that I can't stand. Like the harem trope in Isekai has to start. It's like, oh, he got summoned to another world, and now just everybody on the good guy side loves him, and even some of the villains are gonna love him, and he's just gonna be so great. I'm just like, okay, I that just is not believable to me. I don't like that. And then it's like, oh, and then just all these women are throwing themselves at him. I'm just like, what's going on with, and then if you go and you read descriptions, because that's what I'll do, is I'll go and I'll read the general description on Crunchyroll, because I have a Crunchyroll subscription, because there's a lot of shows on there that I do like. And you read some of these and it's like, he was just a normal guy in the world. I'm like, okay, can we get like a billionaire? Can we get like a billionaire playboy who had everything given to him from birth, was then isekai'd into another world and given a lowly status to teach him the value of working himself up from being a lowly person to a high person, to work for what he wants? Can we get that one? Instead of this, like, oh, I'm just this normal average Joe guy and life doesn't really have anything going for me, and now I'm dropped into a world of a harem. There's no substance to any of this. You guys never let it be said we don't complain about male Mary Sue's. Like, dude, it's horrible. I think you described Tanya the Evil. Liu, I don't know what Tanya the Evil is. Please describe. You must now describe in 30 seconds or else I will ban you. Oh, wait, there's a 20-second delay. In 20 seconds from the time that I say this, and then you'll hear it. You have 30 seconds. What is that? Dude, it's like isekai anime. And here's the problem. I like the fantasy elements when it comes to anime. I think it's just beautiful visual storytelling. You get that Western fantasy style. Why is most of like the Western fantasy stuff that I'm seeing on Crunchyroll this isekai crap? It's got like bottom of the barrel storytelling. And it's just like, oh, by the way, the guy is just overpowered to shit. Why? He enters the world overpowered. It's so ridiculous. Yo, friends, lurking. Caffeinated Wolf, what are you cooking? What are you cooking for dinner? Let me know. What are you cooking for dinner? Does it involve wine? Are you making a sauce with the wine? Very hard to do. Tried to do that in the past. Have not done it correctly. A corporate officer is isekai'd into the slums of a fantasy World War I and joins the military. Interesting. Oh, wait. So is that a good one? Is Tanya the Evil a good one, or is that a bad one? Describe to me. Anyway. But, so I'm watching the slime anime. I got isekai'd into a slime. No, you didn't. You got isekai'd into like the most OP person on the planet. However, that one balances it out. It's where it's like, no, a bunch of people get isekai'd into this world and they're all just OP as crap. It's ridiculous. And I kind of like how they balance that out, where they're like, no, people that get brought into this world are just hella powerful, whereas all the normal residents, not so much. I like that I got reincarnated at that time I got reincarnated as a slime, which just the title in itself, that time this happened to me. Dude, that's like, hey bro, that time that we were at the bar, there's more times. Does he get isekai'd again and go somewhere else to another world? Just the title itself intrigues me. But the slime anime, I was watching it and I was reflecting on a lot of the other stuff that I've seen. And I'm like, man, I just really want a really solid, good, Western fantasy anime that I can get into. I feel like I've seen some, but I can't name any off the top of my head. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with the anime. One, I have a weakness. I really do like a lot of the power fantasy stuff. My weakness in anime is, but does he punch the guy harder next episode? If he punches that guy harder the next time he meets that guy, like, I'm happy. And I hate this. I hate that that's my weakness. It's because Konosuba's pretty good. Okay. He does become a bit OP, but it's because God is trying to make him faithful despite how much he wants to spite him. Wait, what? Who becomes OP? Anyway, so I've watched a fair amount of anime over the last many years because it's like, okay, which ones do I let my kids watch? Which ones do I not? I don't actually mind a lot of like the bloody violence stuff and things like that in anime form because I don't. My kids have watched Demon Slayer. They really like that. My daughter is very much looking forward to the dubs of My Hero Academia being finished. I really like My Hero Academia, but we're not talking about hero stories. We're talking about isekai tonight. And out of the isekai that I have seen, I don't know if there's a single isekai that I would rank as rewatchable. Like, it's not even like, we're not even talking about top 10. Would I watch it again? And there's a lot that I just don't think I'm going to. Like Solo Leveling, I just talked about that. I would rewatch that again. Very simple story. If you know what's going on in the manga, I won't spoil it for everybody who's not like caught up on the manga. But it's an interesting, it's a deeper plot, and I like that they're going to get. I hope they get into that in season 3. I think that Frieren, although Frieren moved very, very slow, not an isekai, but Western fantasy, right? Very Western fantasy, did a really interesting play on immortality and obviously kind of that Western fantasy stuff. I like that. Isekai, like if you're looking for just a solid Western Overlord is rewatchable, I'd say, although the books are better. I've tried watching Overlord. I can't get into it. I don't know, dude. I like my characters to look like people and not like whatever the fuck, dude. An Overlord. I'm walking out from the store. I've got one for you. Mario True. He's like, I've got one. Well, get home from the store and then send me one that I can watch on Crunchyroll. Because, man, I need something that I can see. So I watched a Western fan, and again, this is my problem with isekai, is it is just pervasive through the fantasy anime, and it just seems to be infecting everything. And it's like you can't just get a good, solid, like fantasy, like Western fantasy, Tolkien-esque. I say Tolkien-esque because that's going to be Tolkien, D&D, anything inspired off of that type, that stuff. You can't just get anything in the Western fantasy world. It's just not contaminated with this. I got summoned from another world and now I have a harem and everybody loves me and it's not like I'm ever gonna lose a fight. Like I watched and this is why I think I'm just starting not to like the isekai anime thing. It's pervasive in a genre it does not need to be pervasive in. Like, why can't we get like I don't see a lot of isekai outside of the fantasy genre, right? I don't see a lot of it. It seems like they're just like, oh, we're not good writers. You know what we're going to do is we're just going to put him in a fantasy setting because magic and shit. And I'm just like, this bothers me because I'm trying to find new shows. And like there for a while, a lot of the stuff coming out. So, one, Dr. Stone. Hugely surprised that I love that show. The fact that Dr. Stone is technically considered a shonen because it's in Shonen Jump. That's what actually makes it a shonen. Super good. Really like that. Shangri-La Frontier. Absolutely fantastic. Frieren, its pacing kind of started to bother me at certain points. I'm probably going to continue watching Frieren. I do like Goblin Slayer. I think those are good. There was a new one that I liked. It was called New Saga. New Saga, I was like, okay. And effectively what that one was is it's a time travel, right? It's Isekai adjacent, right? It's like a guy already went through all the trials and tribulations and everything. But there's kind of a plot line there. Is like, why did he time travel back? Well, obviously it was set up by the evil guy. Why did the evil guy want to time travel? And they kind of lay that down. It's like, oh, that's interesting. But now, kind of knowing what's going on in the future, he makes decisions that are very beneficial to his future. It's like, okay, I could buy that. New Saga was good. Why is the fantasy genre so absolutely Jail Royce? Hail. I meant Hail Royce. No, you didn't. You meant jail. Go F yourself, punished John A. Douglas. Go F yourself. I know what you meant. You want me gone. You want me rid off this YouTube, don't you? You want YouTube to ban this channel. That's what you want. That's what you were saying. It's just power fantasy on par with the above average fan fiction. Dude, it's like total fan fiction. It's like, okay, you want to, like, again, power fantasy. I don't mind power fantasy tropes. I don't. For instance, Solo Leveling. I mean, that anime is ridiculous. The book it's actually pretty good. Sadly, I believe the author of Solo Leveling actually had a brain aneurysm a few years ago and ended up passing away. Tragic. Very young, too. He was very, very young. It was very sad. But he created a world that I personally think is really compelling because it's simple. And I feel like a lot of isekai writers get to this point where their head is so far up their ass ass they can no longer sniff their own farts, and they just think that they're smarter than everybody. And it just bothers me. It's like you're not even writing a coherent story. You're just magicking shit to happen at this point. And it's like, Overlord, tried watching that. Guy comes in, super powerful. Overlord is not compelling to me. I tried watching it. I can't get into it. Make formulaic and print by numbers, and it's garbage. Probably. Reminder that an isekai helps spawn... Oh, come on. Oh, my... For some reason, hold on. My mouse is being absolutely stupid right now. I don't know why. I probably need to buy a new mouse. My mouse cord's going out. Anyway, reminder that an isekai helps spawn the superhero and sci-fi fantasy genres. Wait, whoa, John, explain. Either way, I'm not talking about whether isekai is a good genre or a bad genre. What I'm talking about is I think that when it comes to Japanese manga and anime, the lowest caliber of writers seem to be the ones that are in isekai. I'm just throwing it out there. Follow the show and romance sports anime called Blue Box. Has a bunch of tropes that I typically hate, but it's interesting. I avoid a lot of like the romance animes. John Carter is technically an anime, or is technically an isekai. A lot of isekai anime variety is pretty trashy, though. It is. Why? Why is it so But here's my question. Answer this for me, chat, please. Why is the isekai like trope so intrinsically tied into the Western fantasy genre in Japanese anime and manga? Okay. Why can't we get more? Just pull the isekai out, get Western fantasy. What's going on with that? What, why? Like, I mean, it'd be like, well, young Japanese men just don't have a future and they want to have a blah, 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 blah. It's like, hey, young men all over the planet don't have this thing. Can we give a story about young men going out, striking out on their own, doing the thing, and then working their way up the ladder to be like becoming something? Instead, it's just like, oh, it's just like you just get dropped in this world. Easier to world build with an ignorant protagonist. Oh. But like, okay, so hold on. But if you get into like Rising of the Shield Hero, which is objectively terrible, it's bad. It's like, well, easy world building with an ignorant protagonist. One, that dude's not ignorant. That guy seems like he's the smartest person on the planet. Also, same thing in the Slime anime. Difference was, Shield Hero, dude seems to be a high school student. In the Slime anime, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, which is why long titles? But in the Slime anime, he's like a 30-something-year-old, business type who actually worked for a contracting company who actually has some business sense about it. So it's like easier for me to kind of accept that than not. Marketing, Royce. It's all marketing. Mario Trujillo. Okay, so you're gonna save the mic drops for my rants later. You're not gonna mic drop me. I know. I get just, and here's the problem: is like probably one of the better like Western style fantasy animes. The ending is terrible because I'm keeping up with it as much as I can. Black Clover. Very much set in the Western fantasy style anime, or very Western style fantasy genre. It's not finishing strong. That I don't know how you write what you want is sports anime. No, I don't want sport except for Blue Lock. Blue Lock, the soccer anime. Actually, that's pretty good. Like Blue Lock, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people had problems with the second season, and I just watched it and I was like, this is cool. And then people were complaining about the problems. Like I didn't notice those problems. I like Blue Lock. Blue Lock was pretty cool. But I traditionally no. I want he punches the guy even harder next time. That's just kind of where I'm at. So there were 5 anime when I was a kid, and I forget one of them for some reason. So excuse me. So there are 4 anime, but there used to be 5, and I don't remember what the 5th one is, and I don't remember why I don't remember what the 5th one is. But the 4 that I remember from when I was a kid, and the reason I didn't write off anime, because again, a lot of the friends that I had when I was a kid that were anime people, they were kind of weird, and they went from watching like stuff that I was like, oh, I'm cool with this. And they'd be like, oh, if you like that, you need to watch this show. And I was like, no. And it was like ecchi stuff. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Why am I watching this? But the 4 that I have always loved from me being a kid is Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Princess Mononoke, and the Get Backers. There was a 5th one in there at one point in time, and I don't remember what it is. Describe the 5th. I legitimately don't remember. No, I used to know its name. And it just, over the years, it has evacuated itself from my memory. I legitimately can't tell you what it is anymore. But no, the 4 that I absolutely remember, that I still go back and watch. I have shown my children a couple of them. I've shown my children Dragon Ball Z and Princess Mononoke, and my kids watched Princess Mononoke with me, and they were like, this is wild. My kids were like, whoa, when he shot the arrow and took the dude's arms off that was holding like the naginata, my kids were like, "What the fuck?" They were like, "That's insane." Yeah, good list. Needs Akira. Never seen Akira. Again, wasn't an anime person. There's probably a lot that I need to go back and watch. But also I will say this, I want like some remastered stuff that just kind of looks better, because don't get me wrong, stuff back in the day looked good. Not as good as some of the visuals we're getting today. I'm sorry. If you sit there and be like, well, I don't like Demon Slayer because of all of the modern technology, you're high. Demon Slayer is one of the most beautiful animes that I've ever seen. I also really like that Demon Slayer has an innocent protagonist starting out at a lowly level, working his way up. That's more of an Eastern fantasy instead of Western fantasy, but obviously same stuff. Akira is a trip in all the right ways. I know. Well, but there's the Akira bike slide, right? Like I know about that. So guys, but we still haven't Rock the Dragon, right? Dragon Ball Z. Oh man, so good, so good. But what I want to know, why does Isekai suck? Like it's just, because every time I go to watch a Western style fantasy anime, it's like, fucky McFuck. I don't know Japanese names, but anyway, what do we call him? We're gonna call him Isekai John. That's what we're gonna call him. We're gonna call Isekai Doe. Isekai John Doe. Isekai John Doe was just a normal guy, and then he entered into this world, and then for some reason he's got to go through this world. And one of them, I was like, oh, I like the art style on the picture that they show on Crunchyroll, and it was like, he was just a normal guy and got summoned to this other world, and but the goddess called him ugly, and I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. And I'm just like, I'm struggling to want to try to find or try to branch out from stuff that I like, which is not good, because I am not the type of person who likes to continually just go back and watch things that I've already watched or play games that I've already played. Some I do. This isn't a hard and fast rule. But for the most part, there are things where I'm just like, I'll watch it once, I'll experience it once, probably never watch it again. Don't care, don't need to talk about it. The end. Have a nice day. This partially comes from when I was a teenager. I used to actually inundate myself and just watch nothing but that show or that movie that I got over and over and over and over and over again. Like to a ridiculous amount. Like movies that I really, really, really like. I can tell you when I was a teenager, I've probably seen at least 50 times. I can tell you that I have seen Boondock Saints 1 probably about 50 times. I can tell you that Supernatural's seasons 1 through 5, I have watched all the way through at least 7 times. 8 times. I'm sorry, 8 times. Because I have 8. Okay. I can tell you that I have seen some of the animated Superman and Batman movies, some of the DC animated movies that I have at least a dozen or more times. I've seen the Bourne Identity movies all more than 20 times. I used to just rewatch things until I could memorize them in my head. Now as an adult, I've just gotten to a point where I've kind of overexhausted that part of myself. And I'm just like, I no longer want to do that, to just rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. Now, again, I was like, man, I just need something to listen to while I'm doing paperwork and trying to figure out some other things in my day job. And I just listened to season 1 and season 2 of Solo Leveling today. And I mean, I had a good time. What the hell is Isekai anime? Tianda, 1999. Isekai is a genre of storytelling when you take a person from one world and then you transport, and then they get somehow transported to another world. And then you just turn that into an anime from Japan. So it's like, oh, I'm Fucky McFuckface, and I'm either in high school or I have a normal day job, and now I just got transported into this other world, and it's usually a fantasy world with swords and sorcery, and they usually just make the character overpowered, and it's a bit freaking ridiculous. Still never watched anything past season 5. You don't need to. Seasons 1 through 5 of Supernatural are perfect. You don't need to go any further than that. A Public Diaries does not action face at all, but it's an excellent show. I haven't met a single person who's watched. I haven't met a single person who was watching. Even Mark disliked it. Oh, Apothecary Diaries. No, I've seen Apothecary Diaries. I think it's done, though. But it's not an isekai. But Apothecary Diaries is not an isekai. That could be more of like a historical fiction, right? We're talking about why isekai is so pervasive in the fantasy genre in anime, because it seems to just be diluting the fantasy genre. Again, I saw New Saga. It's isekai-ish. It's more time travel-y, which isn't technically isekai. They're talking about good shows in general. No, we could totally talk about good shows. No, Apothecary Diaries is a fantastic show. Apothecary Diaries probably hits at a 7.5 to 8 for me. I would say possibly an 8. There were a couple episodes in there I was like, I don't really care. But Apothecary Diaries does a great job at not doing any sort of like filler. Like there's not a lot of filler in Apothecary Diaries. They don't do the obligatory, we have to have a beach episode where the women are running around in skimpy bikinis and, you know, fucking 11th century China or whatever. Like very, very good. Apothecary Diaries is great. That's the other thing that takes me out of a lot of shows. Like if there's just like a beach episode, I skip it. I don't fucking care. Just, I want to see the main character punch the other guy really, really fucking hard. What's up, everybody on chat? What's going on, Brian Sanchez? Konosuba is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, and it's a little sexual, very trashy, but it's... See, and I don't like shows like that, though. I really don't. Like I said, I think that's probably why I like Solo Leveling as much as I do. Actually, you know what? I tell you what. One of my favorites is Shangri-La Frontier. Shangri-La Frontier is a video game anime which treads on the isekai thing, but not so much. Shangri-La Frontier, absolutely fantastic. I would say that it's probably an 8.5 for me. Not a lot of filler episodes, and the battle it verges on the shonen. Very, very good. I'm a fan of sci-fi mech anime, Robotech, Star Blazers, and Gundam series. I like the original Gundam Wing. I have not gotten into the rest of like the multiple series that they've put out. I do like the original Gundam Wing. I still think the original Gundam Wing is very, very good. Again, it's if you were here earlier, the 4 anime that I was exposed to when I was a kid that I was like, oh, I'm never gonna say that anime is bad because of these 4. And it was Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Princess Mononoke, which is Studio Ghibli, and then also the Get Backers. And nobody, like when I meet people, they're like, I know what the Get Backers is. I'm just like, wait, what? But again, I very much like my battle shonens and stuff like that. But I also don't mind a really good just fantasy setting. And I've found a couple here and there. I actually think Goblin Slayer. Have you seen Code Geass? Yes. All right. Oh, he was asking that to Tianda 19. Yeah, Code Geass. Okay. I'm going to let him answer that. I've seen Code Geass. I think I have a review here on the channel of Code Geass. My review of that show, it was too far up its own ass to be good. It really was. And then, yeah. And the writer wrote himself into too many corners too many times. And I was like, oh, memory erasure. It just Code Geass was not. Star Blazers and the Battle of the Planets, my first animes I watched back in the 70s. Oh, snap. Oh, you're like an OG. Like OG. Okay. Made in Abyss is effed up, but it's a well-developed fantasy setting. Made in Abyss. Okay. I have to check it out. Code Geass is very tropey. Code Geass is very retarded because the writer thought that he was smarter than he actually was. And if you guys have ever read anything above a fucking 7th grade reading level, you would start to realize, oh, yeah, no, this guy doesn't. Like, I don't know how Death Note is a better Code Geass, because it's that same trope. It's like, oh, these two masterminds are playing chess again. I Code Geass, I don't know how people like that. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's I was watching that show and I literally, because people told me to watch it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. And I got to a point where I was like, I was told to watch this. I'm going to finish it. And then I got done with it, and I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. Code Geass was, again, one of those where people just like had to accept that the guy was like the guy. And it's like if just one more person questions the guy, it changes the show. And there are many times that can happen. Code Geass, not a, I don't know. Say no more. I'm adding it to the list. Wait, what are you adding to the list? Anyway, but again, I just, and every time I ended up seeing an isekai recently. I didn't mind. It's not the greatest on the planet, but it does delve into more of that power fantasy type. Seems to avoid the harem stuff so far. Seems to avoid the beach episode bullshit. But it's like the water magician. It's a very new anime. I was like, all right, I don't mind this. Premise wasn't bad. It's like, he's gonna get dropped off into this world. He knows that he died and came back. The reason that he's good at magic, though, is because he basically had to teach himself instead of having these preconceived notions of how magic works that the world teaches. And so I'm more inclined to accept power fantasy style stuff when people are like, you can't do that. And he's like, but I did. And they're like, how did you do that? He's like, took me a lot of work, but he's like, I figured it out. He's like, I don't know like why you guys think you can't do it. Like it's just subtle things that give reason for the character to just be so fucking OP. And instead of just being like, oh, you've got to stack into your stats and level up and all this. Like, I am so fucking sick of people trying to recreate this D&D style anime. And that's what Isekai basically is it's just a D&D game. And I'm just like, oh, mother. I just want to find a good Western style fantasy anime. It's got swords. It's got magic, right? It's got a wizard. You've got an old wizard that's actually wise and not just some like old perv who's trying to peek on the girls. You know, it's got a knight who actually wants to do his job. And just this isekai stuff is just invading and seems to have invaded a genre of storytelling that I absolutely love. And it's just one of those things that I'm just like, this is dumb. This is absolutely dumb. And I'm not sure how the isekai, hey, Maji-chan, what's going on? I'm not sure how Freerun might fit the bill for you. I've already watched Freerun. I said at the top of the show, I've checked out Freerun. It's pacing. It hits a pacing issue for me halfway through season 1. Everybody was like, oh my God, Freerun is such a masterpiece. It's so good. I'm like, it's all right. It's got pacing issues. It definitely has pacing issues. Characters are good. Moments are good. Yeah. It's a good show. Yeah, no, Free Run. Like I said, I've already watched Free Run. Because again, in the winter time, I can't go outside and do stuff, so I'm literally trapped inside. I'm usually trapped in my garage where I drink beer and smoke cigarettes and hang out with the garage cats, and I just sit there and watch shows because it's fucking cold outside and I don't have a lot to do. To be honest, I kind of checked out of anime. I'm getting into Vampire Hunter D is weird, but okay to watch. Never seen that one. Vampire Hunter D. I'll have to check it out. Like I said, I still enjoy a lot of like the modern stuff that's coming out. I'm hoping to see the next season of Goblin Slayer. I'm absolutely waiting for, because it's a winter season. Really waiting for Shangri-La Frontier. If you guys haven't seen Shangri-La Frontier, it's so good. Free Run's problem is that it takes place after the exciting events and the elf's retirement story. I disagree with you. I highly disagree with you. In that it takes place after the exciting events, because there's always, in the fantasy world, it leans on like, hey, there's a timeline in which there's good and bad events are always happening in these worlds. It's not just because you beat the big bad evil, the next big bad evil doesn't show up. The difference is Free Run is dealing with it in a way that like, oh, a new generation of people are doing this, being guided by one of the previous people that did it, right? No, we didn't go see Infinite Castle in theaters. I really wanted to, but it didn't have the money at the time. And the theater that had it's 45 minutes away, and it starts to become cumbersome. We live in an area, you know where we live, that Kahuna, because you've been here, you've been shirtless in my backyard, you know where we live. Yeah, it's just, I do want to see the Infinity Castle movie because it looks dope. Mario Trujillo, long story short, Japan has a free-to-post website that most isekai comes from. It's basically their fanfic website that gets legit publishing. Why? All right, we need to nuke Japan again. Because, just hear me out. Hear me out. The first time we nuked Japan, we corrected a lot of their problems. If we send a thing to Japan and we're like, you need to stop with this isekai bullshit and you need to start writing better stories, and they go, we are proud Japanese. We don't need or however the fuck they sound. I don't think they mostly sound like that anymore if you listen to it. Anyway, but if we nuke them again, we could probably get better fucking anime. We got anime from them the first time we nuked them. If we nuke them again, we could get better anime. It stands to logic, right? No? Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Then you need to get them to touch the boats, but they won't. Yeah, no. Yeah, they won't touch the boats anymore. That's been fairly established. Is the one? Yeah, no. Basically, every time the boats have ever been touched, the country has not liked it. The entire reason the United States Navy was founded was to hunt pirates for touching our boats. It's in the founding document of the Navy. It's so good. I'm 99% positive Japan is the least likely country to touch a boat from the USA, at least for another century. Yeah, they're going to have a little bit more memory. Yeah. Grave of the Fireflies 2, Nuclear Boogaloo. Okay. Okay. Have you seen one of the OG isekai anime, Inuyasha? Inuyasha's an isekai? No, I have avoided Inuyasha because I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I was like, why do these people have animal ears? And it was weird. And I was like, that's weird. And people are like, no, it's really good. I'm like, no, they have animal ears. That's not normal. That's odd. It's very strange. More accepting of the animal ears now. specifically because my wife wore animal ears one time, and we're not going to go into that. But anyway, more accepting of it now. But yeah, there's just for the amount of anime that gets put out, the amount of like decent stuff. Seriously, Inuyasha's all right. Fuck. Do I need to suffer through Inuyasha and then give you guys a review on it? No, it was not me that wore the animal ears. No. I can't show you the pictures of the animal ears that my wife never mind. We're moving on from this. This is a very different no. Sai, I don't have to bring out Professor Orlando's Fury Scale again. Oh, isn't Inuyasha's where I think the furries came from? No. No, furries came from Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Yeah, Tianda. It can basically be traced back to Sonic the Hedgehog and Rouge. Was it Rouge the Bat? Yeah, well, we do like your suffering, Royce. Why? Why do you like my suffering? I never did finish Inuyasha. Did it get an ending? I remember hearing something about the mangaka not liking endings. No, review the freaking show. I sent you twice. I have to find it. I'll have to. The kids clean and then they put stuff places, and the wife and we find it years later. It's scary. Royce knows that. Oh, dude, I have been on the internet a long time. I also watch. It's also crazy when you're scrolling through YouTube and it's like, where did furries come from? And you're just like, oh, I shouldn't click on this video. But it's on YouTube, so it's probably safe. And then you click on this video, and then you just get hit with a history of the internet that you're just like, wow. I didn't need to know that. Why did I want to know about the history of furries? It's just YouTube recommended is just intrusive thoughts winning. That's what it should just. YouTube should just put out a list, be like, your intrusive thoughts, and be like, how well do you know me, YouTube? If they put that out and it's just videos of your intrusive thoughts and all of them is just crap that you're just like, I know I shouldn't click. Oh my gosh. Thank God YouTube hasn't done that yet. Ooh. And here I blamed Lola Bunny. Lola Bunny, well, specifically Lola Bunny from Space Jam could have potentially done it, but I don't remember it. I think a lot of it actually did come from the Sonic. So yeah. Does anybody remember having any for, remember the ending song for My Hero Academia where they were in a fantasy setting? I watched that show. Wait, what? I try having the mistake of having a pony avatar for years. That's a scary rabbit hole. Yeah, don't do that. My recommended is filled with VTubers. Save me from this self-inflicted hell. No, you deserve what you get. Also, Crystal Skull from Star Fox Adventures. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that contributes to that degenerate ass population that should also be nuked. Anyway, how do we fix this whole like isekai in my Western fantasy? And there's been other stuff that people are like, oh, you've got to watch this. And I try watching it and I'm just like, it's so bland. It's so bland. I don't mind a filler episode here or there, but I really need epic battles and sword fights and like fun stuff. And I don't actually, I will say this. One thing that kept me watching the slime one, that time I got reincarnated into a slime, was the fact that they were talking about like all the nation building and they're like, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. And we're going to use this nation and we're going to do this and install our puppet king and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, this is intriguing to me. I don't know why this is intriguing to me. I know that's not how this works in the real world. I don't care. That's why the slime one. Old Superman cartoons from the 1940s are called. Dude, no, no, totally agree. I've watched those. They were on reruns when I was a kid. Every time you'd be like sick at like 2:30 in the morning or whatever, you'd be like sick, like dying of the flu. And And like, and here comes Superman. And you're just like, all right. And you be watching, dude, those 1940s Superman cartoons are chef's kiss. They're great. They're great. The keyword, Royce, is yet. Give YouTube a few years and you get the Doom recommend. Unless they decide to go Netflix before that and they just kick everybody else off and they're like, no, we're only welcoming massive studios now because that's what YouTube is. Had to step away because I'm at work. I'm back. Oh, you missed a lot. We talked about furries for a minute and whether or not they came from Sonic or they came from Lola Bunny or Star Fox. They came from somewhere and that place needs to be purged by fire. No, I didn't crash out. I'm just trying to figure out. Supposedly, I have to go and watch Inuyasha now, which I didn't want to watch. I think my daughter was watching that. I'm on my 5th 16-hour shift. Oh, God bless you, sir. Exterminatus? Is that a 40K reference? Exterminatus? I thought this whole stream was a light crash out. Yeah, kind of. Playboy Bunny is where furries came from. No, it's not, because they never made an amorph. Inuyasha is for girls. Oh. No, way too many slice of life episodes in Inuyasha. I don't like slice of life anime. I really don't. There's only one slice of life episode that I really ever liked in an anime, and it was in Dragon Ball Z. It was right before the Cell games begin, and it was the slice of life episode where Goku is sitting there and he's Super Saiyan, and Krillin is just like, man, he's so powerful right now. I bet if I threw this rock at him, he would be able to just blast it out of the air before, or without even seeing it coming. And so Krillin throws a rock at Goku and hits Goku in the head. He's like, Krillin, why would you throw a rock at me? It was great. Like that's the only one I've ever watched. Oh, I should mention my daughter and I watched Frieren and we both love it. It's our Comfort Dad Daughter show. That's awesome. No, Frieren's good. Frieren's not bad. Pacing issues, but not bad. You need to watch Hajime no Hippo. That is a show. I've seen it mentioned before where literally guys punch until they start losing and then they punch harder. See, but that's how you win, is you punch until you start losing and then you just punch harder and then the other guy loses. And that's how you do it. No, Freeren's a good show. Freeren is a very good show. It's just, it's got pacing issues. It's hard to like sit down and watch. Boxing shonen anime. Oh, yeah, not gonna watch that. It's not my genre. I want Western fantasy. I want Lord of the Rings style anime. That's what I'm going for here, guys. And here's what I'm hearing. There's no Western style anime that are that fucking good that I've missed that you guys are recommending, which tells me that the Japanese just don't understand a Lord of the Rings style anime. It's one of the best shown in anime, period. I don't care. No, it's not. One of the best shown in anime ever is Dragon Ball Z. Look at the fucking sales numbers. Or One Piece. One Piece is ridiculous. I don't even want to start One Piece. I have heard that they are going to do a new series of One Piece where they cut out a bunch of the filler. Regarding Freeren, this is why I'm... well, my gosh, the chat's actually moving today. I start talking about weeb shit and all you guys show up and start talking. You start talking about other stuff. You guys aren't here. But regarding Freeren, this is why I'm thankful I got into art house drama bullshit. Stories in high school prepared me for peak fiction about the autistic elf. I like Freeren. It's just, it's paced really well and then it hits a pacing issue and then it just, But that's okay. You have to go back 20 or 30 years to find old school fantasy anime from Japan. Muslim style, not Western style. Wrong, boy. Why don't you spell boy right? Agreed on the pacing. The mage test arc introduced way too many characters we didn't care about. Thank you, John. Yes. Might 9 is Western style anime, I think. Might 9. You got to remember, Japanese are aging out with the same cultural battles we are having. Oh, yeah, no, it's everywhere. It's all across the world. No, population collapse is a thing. We're headed for, I firmly believe that we are in the early stages of a chastisement. But like that gets into super deep religious stuff. God's not happy with us right now. We all might die. Or if we ask God to just nuke Japan, we can get better anime because we nuked them once and we got anime. And if we nuke them again, do we get better anime? How does this work? Does anybody know how atomic radiation affects the Japanese and their mindset to create good anime? I'm not resting on this. I think that's where we need. Have babies. Shinzo Abe probably. No, he fucking did. He did say that. The Mage Tech arc was better than... No, it wasn't. The Mage Test arc was not better than them just traveling around. Not even close. You're fucking wrong. I'm so sick of anime being like, well, these magical adventures, now they have to go to a school. And it's like... The Japanese are so obsessed with high school. And I'm just like, I don't care. Osan Newbie Adventure is about a 300 dude, maybe year old dude, who gets really jacked and joins the only S-ranked party. Huh? What pipe are you smoking, brother? We actually got some action for once. Dude, them traveling around, there was a bunch of action. Also, you like Black Clover. You have no leg to stand on it. It's falling apart. A 30-year-old dude. Okay. Yeah, you said 300, bro. I can't, it's very different. We have radioactive water now moving to the Pacific shores. That could help. Radioactive water. We could get better anime soon. I might die on this hill. I don't know if I should. I don't know. Again, I'm looking for some dope, like Western fantasy stuff. Like I said, I checked out New Saga. New Saga is very new. It's decent. It's not the greatest thing on the planet, but it's pretty good. It's okay. I like it. Freeran to go get her mage license is like asking Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get his driver's license. Thank you! Oh! I'm putting that on the screen. That is exactly it. It's like, she walks in, she's like, I'm Freeran. I'm the legendary mage that, beat the demon lord. And they're like, well, you still have to get your license, missy. Huh? What? I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It was all right. It's like an 8. Solid storytelling, good action. No overt plot holes. I think the author was up his ass a little much with the God character and trying to explain some of the rules, but that tends to be how most people get when it comes to explaining God. Yeah. Yeah, even Freeran said it was pointless. I agree. Also, the fact that you referenced Dale Earnhardt Jr. shows that you're more fucking redneck than I am. Freeran discussion stream when? You know what? If we wanted to do a discussion stream, it'd probably be after the next season of Freeran. I'd be very interested. OG Trigun. Never seen Trigun. I know of Trigun, never seen it. All right, I'm about to commit heresy. I'm going to commit heresy. I could not make it through Convoy Bebop. A buddy of mine was like, dude, it's one of the best animes of all time. I'm like, all right. I got 12 episodes in. I was like, cool. They still haven't established a badass story yet. I get it. They're working for it. Saw that it was 24 episodes. They're like, where's the other seasons? They were like, oh, there's no other seasons. I was like, oh. And I bounced. Because it literally did not have... They met the little kid that could control the robot. Yeah. Convoy Bebop, or Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, Convoy Bebop is my friend's name. He named his name Convoy Bebop because he was a truck driver. Get it? Convoy, truck, convoy. Bebop out of Cowboy Bebop because he said it was the best anime ever. And I watched Cowboy Bebop. I watched Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, Cowboy Bebop. The music is good. If you're into jazz, super good. Not. I don't understand why people are like, it's one of the greatest animes of all time. And I'm just like, I mean, as like, animation's good, characters are okay. There's not a fucking story to be found. Yeah, you should try Hellsing Ultimate. Already seen Hellsing Ultimate. It's fucking awesome. Alucard's a badass. Yeah, I've already watched Hellsing Ultimate. Not Western fantasy, good sir. You did not understand the assignment. I want fucking Lord of the Rings, but anime. That's what I want. And I don't want my Western fantasy to have Isekai in it. It's times like these I just realized how much a pretentious ass I am. Wait, why? It's better to think of Cowboy Bebop as an anthology show. Kind of, yeah. You ask for the impossible. There's a new one coming out soon, but it's not out yet. Interesting. Like I said, Records of Lodoss War. I tried watching this series. Supposedly there was a movie out. I did try watching this series. I couldn't get into it, though. Predominantly, and it's because I'm an audiophile, 80s voice audio, it just wasn't there. It just, there's a lot, you can hear it. You can really, Records of Lodoss War. Nothing against the show itself. It was really hard for me to get past the audio side of it. I tried watching Records of Lodoss War. If something has bad audio, it is very, very hard for me to get by it, especially when I can hear pitches in it that are very similar to my tinnitus. I mean, technically, Attack on Titan is fantasy. Watched Attack on Titan. Not bad. They butchered the ending in the manga, and then they adjusted it, and then I realized, like, oh, why did I waste my time on this? Because my ending to that anime was, Jaeger would have, married the one chick that loved him and settled down, and, but no, we have to be nihilistic in this world. I'm not gonna finish my shift later. No, I'm actually gonna get going too, because I need to get upstairs with the kiddos and do some catechism and actually get ready and say our nightly prayers. But, ladies and gentlemen, point of this, please find me a Western anime, Western fantasy style anime that doesn't have isekai. That's really good, because I love that setting. It's so fun. That's why I keep checking these out. And then the more I check them out, the more I realize, the fuck is going on here? Just... I don't know. It'd be nice. God bless. God bless, Mario. God bless, John. Had to become the villain as part of the overcomplicated plot to end the war between the world of the Eldians. Kind of like Code Geass. Remember, Code Geass is so great. Code Geass is so great. And then people shit on the plot for Attack on Titans. And it's the same fucking plot. I don't have anything to weld together. And it's really cold in the garage right now. And we've got a cat in the garage that we're trying to heal back to health. And I don't think she needs to be around an angle grinder and a welder right now. She's just not there yet. She's not there yet. She will be though. We're giving her a lot of love and a lot of food and attention. Attack on Titan is another mech anime. I mean, it's good. When Attack on Titan is good, Attack on Titan is real good. Like, yeah. Why do you keep your Chinese food in the garbage bag? Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, until next time, cheers, everybody.